Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now I'm laughing because you know Doma in the house, Domadomas. Now how the hell do I know damn near 90% of the time what's going to happen in the world of boxing? And I'll tell you guys why. It's because the motivation from the culprits is always the same. So therefore, you know what their next move is going to be. The question is, what the hell are we going to do about it? Now, me personally, I don't watch most of this stuff because I already know what's going to happen. Now, we had a lightweight fight, and we know the lightweight division is pretty hot. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty hot. But it would be hotter if we can get one champion. But I think, like I said before, when we get about to get one champion in the division, everybody gets weird. So we had one of our greats, Lomachenko. I said Lomachenko, 16-2 with about 11 KOs, number 6 pound for pound and all that, versus your boy, he was Richard Comey. And I told you guys, I think Lomachenko was going to beat him. Similar to Nakatani, after Lomachenko lost to Teofimo Lopez, they gave him opponents where, movement, is not the strength of the other opponent. They had a little power. Comey had a little pop. Nakatani has a little pop, but you can't hit what you can't touch or can't see. And so therefore, the attributes of a Lomachenko are going to be on display. Now, I've been making sure that was clear before the Nakatani fight. Go back and check it out what Doma had to say. And before the Richard Comey fight, I'm just letting you know, I just thought Lomachenko would win, period. And Lomachenko wins, beat them in 12 rounds. And, beat him pretty handily. My man Comey showed a little heart, but he was just basically too slow, which means the footwork and everything from Lomachenko was on display. When he hits you and then goes around to the other side like Mike Tyson used to do and hit you from somewhere else and give you these angles and stuff like that. Then, it was cool and the announcers letting everyone know that it was cool. But at the end of the day, we knew that Lomachenko was going to win that fight. Now, what did Domadomas tell you? He just told you straight the hell up, right, before all these fights. Lomachenko after Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, they're going to want Lomachenko to fight Kambosos. Period. All that Devin Haney undisputed talk will be thrown in the window. Kambosos and Lomachenko is who they're going to want to fight. Period. The winner of that fight, preferably Lomachenko for them so they can say he's one of the greatest of all time. And then they're going to say it's undisputed. Period. Let the undisputed talk begin. And what do we have after your boy Lomachenko wins? He's in the ring and they're talking to him about the undisputed fight against Kambosos. And it's not an undisputed fight. But I'm telling you, that's who they're going to push for. That's what mainstream media is going to want. They're going to want Lomachenko to win. And when he does, I'm repeating myself, I know it, but just to gloat that I'm right again, is that they're going to be calling the fight undisputed. They're going to be calling Lomachenko undisputed. They will never mention that Devin Haney has a real belt, the real way. They'll never mention that Lomachenko went to ask for a franchise title, which gave us all of this confusion. He's the reason we have it. The one that they call the very best. He is the reason that we have that. Now, when you come to Devin Haney, of course, Devin Haney is someone who they act like he's not that good, but he has a damn belt. He was Lomachenko's mandatory, asked for to fight him a million times, calling him Lomachenko. Lomachenko does it and asks for a franchise belt, gets one, and now we're acting like Devin Haney is the guy who did something wrong. Email champion. And I was listening to Tim Bradley talk about, well, Haney's good, but he's not great. There's other ones that are better than him. He's just long, right? So that's how I see it with most Negro League fighters, right? They're not supposed to be that great. Who have they fought? Right? And those things. But if they have a title and they're not that great, then that should make you want to get them. If you can get the same amount of money or more for something easier, you do it. In life, it doesn't have to be boxing. Anybody in any occupation, if you can go and do something easier to get the same amount of money or more, you do it. So therefore, that argument is out of the window. When you're talking to Demetrius Andre and Devin Haney for undisputed fights and more money than they would get for fighting other people. Canelo fighting Yildirim and Rory Fieldings and all that stuff for less money and it's no significance and, no belts. You see what I'm saying? Same thing as anybody else is going, like, hey, somebody should be wanting to get Devin Haney's belt so they can continue to move on. Right? And ask for the undisputed fight afterwards. Like Lomachenko should be like, well, I want Devin Haney or Kambosos for the belts. Devin Haney has a belt, which he admitted on several occasions. Lomachenko knows that Devin Haney has that belt. So does Kambosos. Before all of these fights, Kambosos was talking about Teofimo Lopez is not the undisputed champion. He has to go through Devin Haney, right? But after he wins the belt, now he's doing the exact same thing. Like I told you, they get this talk and they start doing stuff. It is what it is, right? Another thing I was noticing about Lomachenko's fight, is when the commentators are saying that Lomachenko, this is about his second or third guy who's bigger than him, and he's fighting him, and he's outboxing these bigger guys. It's cool if you mention that. It's a fact. But the fact of the matter is Deontay Wilder not only fights and outboxes, he knocks people out that's 20 pounds heavier than him consistently. And that's one of my issues, right? Deontay Wilder doesn't have the skills that Lomachenko has, does he? So how does somebody that learns boxing at 20 damn years old, starts and skinny as hell, knock out bigger old fat guys over and over, becomes champion and knocks them out in style, right? Not running around, not movement, none of that. Just you're going to get a right hand sooner or later, and I'm going to have the stamina enough to get you if it's round 1 or round 12. Why are we not celebrating that? And he's in the heavyweight division, the glamour division. So we don't celebrate that, but we can just say this guy's, you can't be too much smaller. You came from 126 to 130. That's 4 pounds. I'm not saying kilos. You came from 130 to 135. That's 5 pounds. I am not saying kilos. Right? It's just 5 pounds. That's going to McDonald's once. Those are the difference. Right? From 126, you ain't going to make that anymore anyway because you've gotten older. So the lowest of 130 is what Lomachenko could get down to, and he's not going down to 130 to fight no damn Shakur Stevenson. He's made that very clear, which means he's a 135 pounder, which means we can't keep saying he's smaller than people, because he's probably not. He doesn't want to make 130 anymore. And Shakur Stevenson is not only lucrative fight, it's a hard fight, and it will give him some belts, but he's not willing to do that. So, like I said before, the Undisputed talk will begin. They will be talking about Kambosos and your boy Lomachenko exclusively. They won't want to be, Devin Haney will be, let me tell you, he'll be on the outskirts now. Watch what I tell you. And that's how they're going to be rolling, and that's what's going to happen. Our job is to ignore the fight. If they talk Lomachenko and Kambosos, just simply ignore it. Because this is a fight where we're going to keep the Negro Leagues out of it. That's what Negro League means. We're as good or better, but we don't get to participate. Just like the Negro Leagues baseball back in the day. That's why these are Negro League fighters. That's why Andrade is better than Canelo to me. That's why Devin Haney is better than Lomachenko and Kambosos to me, right? And that's why Louis the Real King Ortiz is better than Dillian White or Tyson Fury to me, because they should be fighting them, or Anthony Joshua too. He should be. That's why David Morrell or Andre is better than Canelo. They don't want to fight him. Benavidez too. It's all the reasons in the world to fight these guys, but you won't, right? And so therefore, that's why Nonito Donaire just had a fight looking pretty good, but Guillermo Rigondeaux is better. When we met, I beat you, and you don't want to fight me since then. You see what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford is better than anybody in that damn welterweight division, because it's my third division, and y'all been up here forever, and we keep talking about reasons for not fighting. Like I'm on the other side of the street, like that meant something. It didn't mean nothing to nobody when Pacquiao was on the same side of the street as Terrence Crawford, right? The same side of the street. That's why Terrence Crawford was on that side. I'm on the side to try to get Pacquiao, which is the side he should have been on. Now everybody else from the other side, the PBC side, wanted to fight Pacquiao. No streets was involved, but when we talk about Terrence Crawford, all of a sudden the street matters, right? That's just, don't worry, man. Listen, just don't listen. Bottom line is this. And here's another thing, speaking of Canelo. Canelo about to go up all the way up to cruiserweight to fight Makabu or Machunu, one of those guys. Neither one of them I know. But he's trying to go up to cruiserweight to do that, right? And we're like, okay, he go up to cruiserweight to ignore the fights at 168 pounds, right? But you know what's so good? The real living legend in Alexander Usyk, the cruiserweight undisputed guy who's damn near undisputed at heavyweight if he gets Anthony Joshua and Tyson's Fury out of the way, which he doesn't have to. Alexander Usyk doesn't have to beat these guys. He beat Joshua once, which is extremely awesome to move up and wait and do that. If he beats Joshua again, he's an all-time great in my opinion. And he doesn't have to beat Tyson Fury, but if he does, that'll be even great. He's way smaller than Tyson Fury, and when you got two skilled fighters, normally the bigger one wins. And Tyson Fury is way bigger than him. But this guy here has also said, well, you know something? Since Canelo's going up to cruiserweight, I'd fight Canelo at cruiserweight, right? Let's see how people will like that. Instead of Michuni and we got to wait for Makabu and Michunu, right? What about Usyk at cruiserweight? Now, anybody got some comments to say about Canelo? Would you like to see Canelo versus Usyk at cruiserweight? Answer that question. But anyway, at the end of the day, let me go back to the top. Lomachenko and Kambosos is the fight they're going to shove down our damn throat, and they're going to call Undisputed. It's your job to ignore the damn fight. Don't even talk about it, and definitely don't watch it, because that's what's going to happen. If you do, you're helping and aiding and abetting for these Negro League fighters to be more in obscurity. And we don't really need that. It's time to get behind them. They're the very best fighters in boxing, and when you start seeing people openly ignore and push them to the side for others, then you know what time it is. So wake up in here. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And we up out of here, y'all.